Welcome to Uncontained, episode 129. I'm your host, Aaron Static Render, and on the show today, I speak with an up-and-coming singer. She's been performing professionally, actually, since the age of 9, and has been working for the last few years at Legoland, singing in Lego Friends Live. So now, the next logical step is obviously to put out a CD, which she is currently working on with a past guest of Uncontained producing it. His name is John Silas, and you can find him on episode 94, the Dragon Ball Z Light of Hope episode. But my guest this week is Brielle Monique, and her debut single is coming out sometime mid to late August, but Don't worry. Being Uncontained, we got the hookup for you. Got a sneak peek at the track, actually delivering the whole track to you right before the show. So that's coming your way. New music from Brielle on the way right here on Uncontained. Thank you for listening and tuning in today. Time to plug in those earbuds if you haven't already. This is how Brielle lives Uncontained. And this is her debut single, Hallucinate.
I can feel your gravity. It's pulling me down, down, down. I feel convicted when you don't listen. You got me spinning round and round. And why is it we break up? Turn around and make up. Why can't I just wake up? These visions of your hands keep reaching out to hold me now. I'm hallucinating, even when I close my eyes, you're still not fading. Colors bleeding out, I'm still hurting out, denying how we're burning down. We're burning down. Clearly, your words fall apart. I'm so conflicted, trust afflicted, paralyzed in my infected heart. Why is it you break up? Turn around and make up. Why can't I just wake up? These visions of my hands keep reaching out to hold you now. I'm hallucinating. Even when I close my eyes, you're still not fading. Colors bleeding out, I'm still hurting now, denying how we're burning down. We're burning down.
How are you doing today, Brielle? And welcome to Uncontained.
Thank you so much. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Thank you for coming on. I heard about you through a past guest of mine, and he's like, hey, I have somebody that I'm doing some tracks for, producing a CD for in the studio, and I'd love if you could talk to her. And that's John Silas. He was, I don't remember the number of episode that he was on, but it was a Dragon Ball Z episode for those of you who want to go back and check him out. But so, welcome to the show. And
Yes, thank you for having me.
Of course. And it sounds like you've been busy.
Oh, definitely. Definitely doing, all the recording that I can, keeping busy, writing, recording, and doing all the stuff you could think of. So definitely keeping busy.
All right. So first of all, like, how would you describe your musical style for people who haven't seen you yet, heard you yet, or been exposed to Brielle?
I'm definitely a pop vocalist, but I like doing all different types of genres. So right now, with the type of music that I'm working on, I do different types of ballads and slow stuff, but I also have the upbeat, fun stuff that you can hear. So I would say my main genre that I work on is pop.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely like to twist it up and do different things.
Okay, what is your favorite, besides pop, besides what you say your main genre is, what is your favorite secondary genre to perform?
I love R&B. I love soul. I like rock a little bit. I really like indie. I think that's like a cool vibe, yeah. But definitely R&B and soul, I would say, would be like my second.
All right, very cool. Who in soul do you listen to?
So I perform at a place in downtown, and they do a lot of neo soul nights.
Okay.
So I kind of listen to like different artists that perform there. I can't really think of any at the top of my head right now, but yeah, I definitely like the hip hop side and soul and R&B. So,
All right. So now you've been working on an album, as we mentioned, with John Silas, and how is that coming together? What vibe does that have? And have you named it yet?
Yes. So we met actually in May of 2017, and so when we started working, we did a lot of covers, and we talked about recording an EP and what I wanted to do in the music industry. And then he relocated to LA and it was like October of 2017, and then we started recording my album in January of 2018. So that's when we started working on it and writing. And then we actually started doing the recording process in March. So when I started doing it, I was 19. And then we decided we wanted to do 10 songs total.
Okay.
So right now, we're writing the 7th song now. And the first song that I'm thinking of releasing is called Hallucinate. And my style, like I said, I definitely have a pop style. But the song Hallucinate, we do a different acoustic version as well, and I want to release that because I definitely like doing acoustic songs. I love having the broken down versions of things and, having just the piano or just the raw version to really be able to produce my sound and show people like the type of voice that I have.
Okay, so you don't like hiding behind synthesized music or auto-tune or anything like that?
Not at all. Exactly. Let it be raw and beautiful and show everything that you have to your voice.
That's good. It's actually nice to hear a singer not use auto-tune in the pop industry nowadays. It's got like almost like everything was auto-tuned for a little bit and you couldn't tell who could sing or who couldn't.
Exactly. And such an important part about being a performer and being in the music industry is doing your live performances.
Yeah.
So when you get to that point, when you're performing, you have your recordings and then you have your live performances, you got to sound similar. And that's, something that I definitely am proud about myself is I have, I've been vocally trained and I have that ability. And I think it's so important to show your different talents in person and not just show someone a recording and say, this is how I sound. It's so important to really show everything about it and the rawness and the fullness and everything that comes with it.
All right. Yeah. Very, very cool. And I respect that so much, there's so many bands or so many groups that go on and play with a backing track when it's live. So it's just like they're up there doing lip syncing or karaoke in an essence of it because they got a track supporting them.
Exactly.
Yeah, and when you have an artist that goes up there and does that, like especially in the pop industry, since it's less and less, common there. Like if you get into the rock industry, it's more
It's
frowned
more
upon if you use the backing track, but some people still do
totally,
it.
totally, exact. Oh, people definitely still do it. But you're right.
As I said, I respect that.
Thank you.
Let's take a couple steps back to before you started recording, before you did this.
Yes.
How did you get involved in music? When did you learn you could sing? When were you like, I want to do this?
Right. So I grew up singing ever since I was really little. My parents don't directly sing, but my grandmother sings, my great grandma sings, and on my dad's side, I have cousins who are on Broadway.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so I always was singing when I was little, but my older sister did sports. So funny story, my parents thought, oh, okay, let me put her in sports as well. And I liked them, but I remember I will always tell this story to people because it was kind of how I got started in music. In softball, we do a lot of singing cheers. A lot of the young girls do the singing cheers, and I was standing up in the dugout, leading everyone in the singing the songs. And some of the parents turned to my parents and they said, have you ever put her in music or theater or something? Because you could tell she sings and she wants to sing. She's doing great. And so that's kind of what started. They thought, oh, okay. They never really thought about it because my sister did sports. And so not that they wouldn't want to, but that just didn't occur to them. So then they put me in dance and music and musical theater. And right when I started, I absolutely fell in love with it. So I did my first professional show when I was 9 years old.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so that was a huge start for me and a huge highlight, I would say, as well, because it, started my career.
So I was picturing I'm sorry to interrupt. I was picturing high school softball or something where you discovered the talent, but it was like Little League T-ball or T-softball where you discovered it. All right. That kind of sets the picture a little bit more.
Kind of sets the picture. Yeah, definitely not quite T-ball. Like it was, definitely a little more, but it's true. That kind of thing where you start out doing something else and then you completely find your passion. And I feel lucky to have found that at such a young age to be able to start theater and do professional theater so young. So then I continued doing that and doing professional shows. And then at age 11, I got hired as a performer at Legoland. So, and I've been working there. I've been doing the shows there ever since. And so I'm in a singing, dancing, and acting show. Yeah, and so I've been there and the shows have changed since I've been there. But yeah, that's been an incredible highlight, an incredible job to be able to perform and do what I love and put that on stage.
So what are the shows like at Legoland? And do you have to dress up in like a Lego costume?
Right.
Do you sing the Everything is Awesome song from the Lego movie?
It's so funny because when I tell people that, that's kind of the first thing that they assume is, oh, you dress up in a Lego costume. So my show is pretty different. We do have shows where they sing Everything is Awesome and they have the Lego characters in that, and then I have other singers separate from it. But the show that I do, it's called Lego Friends Live, and it's based on a cartoon on Disney Channel.
Okay.
And that's called Friends at Heart Lake City. Yeah, so when I started out, they were pretty popular, but now it has grown so much to where when these little girls come and see our show, we are like celebrities to them. They know all of our names. They know everything about us because they say they watch our TV show, and they know, oh, that I want to be just like you. And so it's really cool because these little girls look up to us and they love watching us sing, love watching us perform, and it's really, really special. And it's a really cool performing job that I get to do.
Are you on the TV show too, or?
So the TV show is actually, so it's just a cartoon, so it's just voice acting. So I'm not on that. So yeah, I have a friend who is one of the voice actors on that, which is really cool. Yeah, so she's come and she's seen the show. Which has been really, really awesome.
Okay, very cool, very cool. Because like when you were talking about the Lego thing, you're right. I had the image where like as you're doing it, you can only bend at the waist, the legs are stiff, the arms you can only like turn your wrists with the hands that are cupped like a C.
It's hilarious though because a lot of people do assume that, and then when I have people come and see me, they're like, "Oh wow, this is so cool!" It's totally different from what they expect, and some of the songs we sing are pretty cute and cheesy for the little ones, but some of them are actually really good pop songs, and that's always great. I love to be able to perform and showcase what you do. So
nice.
It's really, really awesome.
And where can people go see this? Is this at Disneyland or is it?
So this is at Legoland, California.
Okay.
The amusement park in So it's located in Carlsbad.
Okay. I've been to Carlsbad before, but all right, you got the Legoland show going on, and you mentioned that you like perform with other bands and stuff like that too. So, do you play an instrument yourself or no?
So I play a little bit of piano, and I'm learning some guitar. So I definitely singing is like my main instrument, I would say, but I'm learning more, and it would be really cool to accompany myself like at a performance and things like that. So I've done a little bit with the piano and a couple songs. So yeah.
Very cool, very cool. So we were talking just a little bit before we started, and you mentioned that in the studio you're working on the new album, but you also do Insta covers or something like that. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Insta covers?
Yeah.
What is an Insta cover for people who don't know?
For people who don't know. So, it could be 30 seconds up to a minute. 60 seconds is the longest that Instagram will let you post a video. But it's just a little cover of, you can post an original on there if you want. Like, I've done little snippets, but I haven't, posted it on Instagram. I've just posted it on the story. So, for actual Instagram, a 60-second cover, people like to say, of a pop song or whatever song is your choice that you want to cover and you want to showcase your abilities. And some of them I will play the piano. Some of them, it'll just be me live, get a good background, things like that. So, yeah.
Okay, what is your favorite Insta cover that you have up on Instagram right now?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably it would be Perfect by Ed Sheeran, because I love Ed Sheeran. I love that song, love his writing. And I really like what I did with it and what I added to the song, my own uniqueness. So, I would say that would be my favorite cover. But I just recorded one today, and I really love that one as well. So that'll be coming soon.
All right, we'll have to check that out. I haven't got a chance to go on and check out any of your Insta covers yet, but
no worries.
I might have to do a little Instagramming a little bit later and see what you got there. What is your Instagram for people who want to check this out?
Yes, so my Instagram is Brielle, BRIELLE.music.
Okay, Brielle.music. Now, at the beginning of the show, I introduced you as Brielle Monique. Are you going by the full name, or are you going to go as the moniker Brielle?
That's definitely still a deciding factor right now. So still trying to figure that out, but I think what I'm kind of planning on is to be announced as Brielle Monique, but then I could refer to myself or go by Brielle. So definitely still in the works, but yeah.
Yeah, and plus, how many times are you going to be referring to yourself in the third person too? Unless you
exactly. And you know what? That's a very good point.
You have to get pretty big to do that.
That's very true. That's very true.
Brielle doesn't do that.
Right? I know.
Brielle wants some food. Brielle wants
to do this.
Yeah. So, it's cool. So, are there any other Brielles out there, or would you be the one? It seems kind of like a not so common name.
Right. It's definitely not a common name. Yeah, there's one, I believe, who does a little bit of music stuff. I think she did more a couple years back, and she hasn't done as much recently. So, that can always depend on, you want to be the one person with your name. So that's another thing that we have to focus on and figure out. But I think it'd be cool to just go by, that one name. I think that's what stands out.
Yeah, the moniker is kind of cool. Back when I was doing radio in my radio days, I kind of went by a moniker. I just went by Static because that's what the two morning radio show guys I interned for, Lou and Scott, they named me Static, and I just rolled with that.
Wow.
So
that's Awesome.
I had hair pretty spiky and like a long goatee, and this looked kind of like the guy from Static X, Wayne Static.
Oh my
So,
gosh, how cool. That's so
so
funny.
they gave me that nickname. They had a couple other suggestions first that I shot down right away, but I won't get into
Of
those.
course. Right? That's so funny. Of course. That's hilarious.
So, now with the album, you're saying you're going to do about 10 tracks, and when is the tentative release date for this?
So we are trying to get it released by the end of August. If we won't be able to finish the whole album by then, I will release one of my singles, and that's called Hallucinate. So and then I would do a video for that, and that would probably be released in September. So the goal is to put out the album at the end of August, but if not, I will have my single out by then, and then continue and go from there.
You know, a lot of people are going the route where you put out a single at a time. They don't release the whole hard copy right away. Because, you know, with the hard copy, or at least what I've taken from this, is when you release that one hard copy, that one album, you kind of set off all your fireworks at once.
Yeah.
When you release that one every once in a while, you know, it's like, you know, the beginning of the 4th of July fireworks festival, where they're like shooting a couple off, then shoot some more off, and that keeps going on. So I think there's some merit to that. And also, you know, holding a CD in your hand too, there's something to that as well.
100%. So I agree 100%. And when I started, you know, working on my album and writing these songs, that was exactly my thought process. Was I think I want to, you know, put out these singles before I put out the whole album. It feels more special that way as well.
Yeah, you can build up to it, and then you can still continue to release singles off of that, or even release tracks that aren't even on the album later on.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. I think that's definitely a good way of doing it.
At least that's what the kids are doing these days.
At least that's what the kids are doing, right?
So, do you have a name for the album yet?
Yeah, so that's still in the air, but the album has been surrounded and kind of focused around a butterfly and flying through life and flying through the process of life. So that's kind of been our focal point. But yeah, we're still deciding on the album name.
So is it kind of a concept album, like where you start off like as a caterpillar, go into a cocoon and come out a butterfly? Yeah,
I mean, a little bit. I think that's just kind of helped me with the writing process and just kind of going through my life and the things that I've experienced in life and all of that. All that comes with it. Yeah.
Okay, since you do bring up your writing process, like what are some things that you do to either get in the mood to write, get inspired, or like what is your typical writing session like?
Right. A lot of what I like to do is just sit on the piano and just play certain things, whether it's, you know, an old song that I like to play or just making new melodies and thinking of different things, you know, that I've gone through in life, or thinking about how am I feeling today? You know, what has affected me today? And a good thing that I like about writing is bouncing off of each other. I think that's so important in the writing process, is when you're able to share with different people your experiences, it helps you think about so much more, and it brings so much more information to your mind. And then someone says something and you think, oh, that reminds me of this, that reminds me of that. So that's really a great way for me to get in the mood or get in that mindset, is to be able to hear what other people have to say. Because the number one thing about putting out music is relating to people. And you want to be able to have people listen and say, oh, that's how I feel, or oh, that's how I felt this day, or oh, I went through something like that. So I think that's so important, is really knowing how you feel and thinking, how will people relate to this?
Okay. All right. Very cool. So is there you say you tend to play like a song or just play on the piano, but is there, or a song from somebody you like, is there a typical song that you can play that will spark your creativity, or is it different each time?
Yeah, actually it is different each time. And again, like I said, I think it has a lot to do with what I'm feeling that day. You know, if I'm kind of in a gloomy mood, it could be, you know, more of like a sad ballad type of song. Or if I just sit on the piano and I'm just playing certain chords or thinking of different melodies, like that'll spark something in my mind as well. So yeah, I think the song changes every time. Depends on what, what's going on that day and how I'm feeling.
Okay, interesting. Just trying to get into your mind a little bit to see how.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So, what have been some of the biggest challenges that you've come across working on this album?
That's a great question. I think a lot for me, for what I do, I feel like I do a lot of different projects. So like working at Legoland, performing with a band, and doing school and involving myself in so many different things. So it can be difficult to focus on one thing and really, because when I do something, I want to put my all into it, and I really want to make that like my power, and I really feel like that's what I'm doing with this album. And so I think that's a challenge for anything in your life, is really being able to like put everything and spend all the time that you want to spend on it. So that's definitely, it isn't easy all the time, but I feel like it's been a great process to, learn how to do that in the best way. And I feel like I'm really at that point where I feel great about it.
All right. Awesome.
Because something else popped in my head, and a bigger challenge for me is thinking about different things to write about, because I go through different life experiences, but thinking about something different each time, to write 10 songs.
Okay. It's got to be difficult, like coming up with like you said, 10 different topics. Yes. Yeah, you can sing about going out dancing, you can sing about like heartbreak, you can sing about like stubbing your toe, but make it sound like it's something way more deep.
Make it but and have people not know exactly what you're writing about.
Or make people think stubbing your toe is a metaphor for something, but actually be singing about stubbing your toe.
Oh my gosh. Exactly.
Hey. Or something along those lines. I don't know. Right. You don't have to use any of my ideas. You don't have to use any of my ideas, but you're welcome to.
I definitely might have to.
All right. But if you do use the stub toe thing, just let me know, because I definitely want to hear it.
Yes. Oh, for sure. I'll give you a shout out.
All right. Sounds good. So now that you've like overcome some of those challenges, obviously, because you're getting this CD out this in August, or at least singles coming out by August.
Right.
What would be some advice that you'd give to an upcoming musician?
Yeah, definitely. I would say take all the opportunities that you can. Make sure they're the right opportunities for you and that you think that they are a good fit, but definitely put yourself out there. I always like to say to enjoy the journey. Love what you do and show everyone your originality and your uniqueness, and focus on you and what you're doing and what you're passionate about and what you love to do. Practice, and continue to do that. And if you're passionate about it, just continue to do it and know that this is what you love to do, and put yourself out there in any way you can and focus on what you are best at. Really showcase your uniqueness and all of that.
Very good. That brings up a couple questions for me here.
Yeah.
One, you mentioned that, take opportunities, take the opportunities you can get, but also know which ones are good for you. Like, what do you do to tell if an opportunity is a good one, or if somebody's trying to take advantage of you?
Exactly. Yeah, so it definitely isn't always easy, knowing, is this the right opportunity? Is this person taking advantage of me? But, I get Instagram messages or emails and things like that. People contact me, oh, come do this, come work for me, come do this. I always like to look the person up and find out, like, the things that they've done and like to ask different people if, they've heard of them and this and that. I think it all depends on, like, where you are in your life as well. Like, I think when it feels right. Like, I've had people approach me and I just don't feel settled about it at all. And then other times where I could tell this is professional, I could tell it would be like the right thing for me to do in my career, and it would help me.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot that comes with it. It's definitely not easy. Like I said, it's not always, but you have to know, you have to know who you're working with. And I think that comes with, their background and people and different things that they've done as well.
All right, great. Yeah, because that can be definitely, especially getting started out can be like
Right.
tricky because you want to get there, but then there's most exposure is good exposure, but then you have the few instances or the instances where you have to be like, no, this isn't gonna go well for me.
Yes, exactly. 100%.
So my second question is, like you mentioned, something about find your uniqueness,
Right.
and everything will kind of fall into place with that. Like,
Right.
what do you view as your uniqueness?
You know, what I really like to do in music, a big part of my like vocal ability is singing different genres and singing different types of songs and having different styles. Like I've sung, a lot of pop music, but I've also done country songs where people come up to me and they say, "Oh, why don't you do some country stuff?" And I think that's really cool to have a singer be able to, switch different genres and be able to have that vocal ability of doing different types of things. I love doing ballads. I love doing upbeat stuff. I love, having like the raspiness in your voice and focusing on different riffs and runs and showing like all that comes with that. So yeah, I think my style, I'm definitely focusing on pop, but I, want to, like, I'm so open to branching out and doing all different types of things. I think it's important to not, be boxed in on one genre or one specific type of thing. So yeah, I love being able to do that and branch out.
All right, yeah. As I was listening to your tracks that John sent me a link to on SoundCloud, I could tell that you had quite a bit of diversity, a little bit like you could definitely tell you could do different genres for you. Not every song sounded exactly the same, which is also nice to hear as well.
Thank you. Yeah.
So
yes, definitely an important thing.
yes, and now. We talked about this just a little bit before with your Insta covers and stuff like that. And what are you doing? Along with the Insta covers, what are you doing to promote yourself?
So I have a music Facebook page, an Instagram, and a YouTube account. So I have a couple covers up on YouTube. I definitely want to put out some more, but I'm starting my Spotify account where I can promote myself in different ways. And I think performing with different people, I perform with a lot of different bands all around San Diego and in Los Angeles. I think that's a great way to be able to promote myself and meeting different people and connecting to different people in different ways. Yes. So, networking in that way and, in any way you can, the more people you meet, the more places you perform and making those connections. Yeah, I think that's super important. And that's definitely something that I focused on to promote myself.
And I noticed that, like, on your Instagram, looking through, it's not just, like, music-related, like, pictures. You have some, like, travel pictures here.
Yeah.
Like, Italy. I don't know. I'm looking at it right now. It looks like you have a picture with a Dalmatian.
Yes, definitely.
You gotta love the dog pictures.
Gotta love the dogs. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's so important to, show that diversity and show everything about your life. This is what I do in all my other time. And when I went to Italy, that was a really, really cool trip, and I got to perform with a band out there. So that was super exciting and super diverse. And yeah, I love that. I think it's, like I said, really important to show different things that you love to do in life.
Yeah, so do you have a certain strategy with it, or are you just throwing like up what you like on Instagram?
Yeah, I think it's just different content. So, traveling, like I said, I love to do different posts about that. I think that's something that people can relate to. And like I said, doing Insta covers. Yeah, so I'll record an Insta cover and put that up and do, like I said, do different things that I love, do different traveling and post that. Yeah.
And is that your dog that's passed out on the keyboard?
Actually, it is not. I wish it was, but I know. Isn't that amazing? I found that on the internet. But it's so funny because my dog would do something like that, and he has done that when I practice the piano. When I'm playing a song on the piano, he'll come over and he'll jump up on the seat, and then he'll put his paws on the piano, and he just wants to play and sing with me. So could get a picture of him like that. And you know what? I probably should and post it.
Definitely.
I think that'd be awesome.
Definitely should.
Yes.
All
definitely.
right. So, what would be a highlight or two that you would care to share with the Uncontained audience?
Yeah. So, like I said, I think starting out in the music industry so young and being able to land my first professional show at age 9, that was a huge highlight for me and a huge way to branch out and start in the business, and then continuing on and doing Legoland. Those have definitely been incredible highlights. I was given the opportunity I was in a competition show through Amazon.
Okay.
And they had thousands of people who auditioned, and I made the top 20. And so those people were from all around the world. And so they flew all those people out to LA. So including me, I made the finalists, and they flew us out to LA. And the show is on hold right now, but it's a singing and dancing competition. And it was an incredible experience to be able to meet all these different people from around the world and perform. And the whole process of it was so incredible. And that has been a huge highlight, to be able to meet all those different people and the whole process of it and in LA. And yeah, that was the coolest things I've done for sure.
I bet. I didn't even know Amazon was doing like talent competitions now. They have their fingers in everything now, I guess.
Right? I know. They were trying to decide if they wanted to make it like a live stream show or things like that. So that's kind of what they were leaning towards. And the show would have us travel to different countries.
Okay.
So, and perform out there and compete there. So yeah, like I said, it's on hold. So but so cool. The whole, like I said, the whole process of it and going through was amazing.
Yeah, I can see them at least putting that on Prime Video or something like that.
Yeah, so, exactly.
All right, very cool. So those are some really cool highlights, and yeah, getting your first paid job or professional job at the age of 9 is pretty badass, along with the whole Amazon thing. And
thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, I feel really grateful. Yeah.
And then I'm sure another highlight will be as soon as this album comes out.
Oh my goodness! Of course.
The highlight you're waiting for.
What the highlight I'm waiting for? But yes, that has been a huge highlight. Being able to put my music, into words and do my own stuff. Like I said, I started out like doing covers and things like that, and do musical theater and pop music, but it's so different writing your own music and pursuing that and sharing with the world like what you're made of and all that. Yeah. So what a huge highlight.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of sharing with the world and sharing with an audience, now, like, what is there a certain feeling or a certain thing that you want your audience to take away when they see you perform or hear your music?
Yeah, I love that. I want people to feel the music that I perform. That is so important to me. Connecting to your audience is so important and crucial, and I think that's really special. When someone can relate to your lyrics, that's really the power in it. That's when it's so powerful. When someone hears your song and says, "Oh, that's what I'm going through. Oh, I completely felt that. Oh, I completely understand you." That's like it's such an incredible feeling, and that's what I want to do with putting out my music is have people feel what I'm singing.
Okay.
And the passion and all that.
Is there anything that you do like in preparation for putting out the music to help you get that across, to help make them feel your music? Is there anything on your side that you do to make that happen?
Right. I think such an important part about it is being open and honest and vulnerable. And I've learned a lot about that through my writing, is to just put everything out on the table. And, being able to be in a live performance and just be raw and pure and just show exactly what you're feeling, I think you can get your point across. And that's what I love. Music speaks louder than words is what like I say, it's actions speak louder than words, but I like to say music speaks louder than words because yes, even though it is, your words and your lyrics that you're using, you can hear and feel it throughout the melody and feel your emotion with the way that you're singing it and the way that you're expressing it.
Right, as you're saying, you can say it how you want. You could even, I wouldn't even be mad at you. I wouldn't even be mad at if you were like, a song is worth 1,000 words or something like that. Just keep throwing them in there. Keep throwing them in there.
Yes!
You're fine.
Yes, exactly. Good. I mean, yeah, I think that's awesome.
No, yeah, make it your own. Make it your own.
Yes,
That's, you know,
definitely.
you don't need copyrights that way.
Right? You know what? So true.
All right,
awesome.
all right. So I do have one more question for you.
Yes.
But before we get there,
Yes.
this is one more chance for you to throw out and let people know where they can find you on the internet. So
Right.
what is your corner of the internet? Where's your social media, everything like that? How can people find you?
So my Instagram is brielle.music, Brielle. And then the same thing is for YouTube and Facebook. And I'll be posting soon on my Instagram, my Spotify, and all that stuff that'll be coming out soon. So I think Instagram is the best way to keep up with me and keep up with what I'm posting. But yeah, YouTube as well. I'm going to be posting all those videos, and I will be on Spotify soon. So like I said, look out for that, and I'll definitely be posting about that on Instagram.
All right, sounds good. So Brielle.music, and
Correct.
I'll put that in the show notes so they can find you
Awesome.
easier, and
Awesome.
yeah, get to hear this new album as it comes out as well.
Yay! Awesome. So excited.
All right, so it's that time for the final question of the show, the title question of the show. Brielle Monique, how do you live uncontained?
So I would definitely say do the things you love for yourself. At the end of the day, that's what's most important is doing it for you. You have to do everything for you. If it's your passion and it makes you happy, that's what matters at the end of the day. You have to accomplish your goals in your own time, and you don't need anyone else's approval. Whatever you do, don't let people's fear, don't let jealousy, judgment, or petty nitpicking rob you of the energy to embark on your own path. You don't need to get distracted by their negativity. What I like to say is just find a way to say I can rather than people telling you that you can't.
Okay.
And do it. Yeah.
Is there any way that you go about doing that? Like I know sometimes when people are telling you can't, it's sometimes hard to find that I can.
Of course.
Is there a spot that you go to pull that I can out?
Like I said, doing the more music, like doing all the music, doing all the different projects I do, whether it's writing, whether it's performing, whether it's this and that, like I know that's where I'm happiest, and that's where I feel my passion. And I know at the end of the day that's what's going to help me get through it. And knowing, I have to do this for myself. It's not easy to listen to these people, but you have to find that reason. And if that reason is music, you have to know, well, this is what I love to do, so I know I can do it at the end of the day.
All right, perfect. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Awesome.
I would like to thank you for coming on the show. And
thank you so much. Yes.
Of course. The pleasure's all mine. And I'm looking forward to hearing the new album come out.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited. I'm really excited.
Yes, and you'll have to let me know when that is out. I will share it and let people know that it's out. And even if you figure out the name, if it's Butterfly or something else, let me know. We'll send it out or let people know when we release this episode as well.
Awesome.
I have one final thing for you to do.
Of course.
And that is sign off this show tonight. Will you do me the honor of signing off the show tonight, Brielle?
Of course. I'm Brielle, and I live uncontained.
And that does it for another episode of Uncontained. Thank you for listening, and thank you to Brielle for stopping by and talking with me. And also, I'd like to give a thank you to John Silas for helping set this up as well. And you, of course, for tuning in, enjoying the show. And I have actually had a few people ask me recently where they can get Uncontained merchandise after seeing the logo and being like, yeah, I'd wear that. Do you have shirts or anything? So, simple answer, yes, I do, and you can find them at tpublic.com or the link on my Facebook page as well at Uncontained Pod. So, you can find them there or just message me on Facebook and I'll get you set up with them. Thank you for listening, and until next time, live uncontained.